I'm Joy Schulmeyer, and this is my persuasive speech. I'm going to be talking about social media and how it's a lot more beneficial than people give it credit for. So, we all have phones, and we all have apps on our phones, and I'm going to guess that at least one of them is for social media. And I'm here to talk to you all about how it's not as bad as it's portrayed, and it's actually really beneficial. And the reasons for that are because it's great for marginalized groups, for people of color, people in the LGBT community, things like that. It's helpful for relaxation, creativity, and learning, and it's a tool that can be used to help keep us connected with our families over long distances, or for us to use to reach out and receive help from other people. And lastly, there are so many different kinds of social media. There are so many different kinds of settings. Anything that you don't want to see, you can simply block and get rid of to customize your social media experience. So, the reason that this is important is because we all use social media. It's a pretty big part of our lives. If you don't use it, it can leave you kind of excluded. I use social media. I used to think that it was a really big problem for me, that I should just get rid of it entirely, but that's not the case. I did my research, and I changed my mind, and I also changed my settings to customize my experience, and it's a lot better. So, for my first point, social media is really good for marginalized groups, people in the LGBT community, people of color, people who have uncommon hobbies or disabilities, anything that would set you apart from the norm. Social media is really good at you being able to find other people who are like you that you wouldn't find elsewhere. If you live in a small town, you're pretty much stuck with the people that you live with, and if you are outside of the general norm, you will end up being excluded from a lot of things if you're not like everyone else. Social media can help you find other people like you, and with certain features like Snapchat and Facebook, with the location turned on, you can actually see how far away those people are from you, so you could eventually meet them. So that's a really cool thing. Which is how it helps us keep us connected over long distances. Through apps and video games, a lot of us make friends through several states away or countries away, and social media helps us stay in touch with those friends, as well as family or other people who have moved further away. And then on slide 3, it says, according to the Pew Research Center, 71% of teens felt that they were more included and confident when using social media. Teens are often the focus of social media. People like to point out how too much of it is really bad for them and they need to stop, but too much of anything is bad for you, and that's not really the case with social media. It's actually gotten a lot better at promoting healthy subjects for people to consume. For my second point, it goes along with that, is social media is actually really great for relaxation, promoting positivity, creativity, and learning. No one really sits you down to tell you how social media works. It's all pretty intuitive. So it makes sense whenever the Ashford University says, social media prevents self-directed learning, which prepares students for searching for answers and making decisions independently. And that's on slide 5. Promoting creativity seems like a pretty obvious reason why the internet and social media is great. We all go on Pinterest or Facebook or whatever, and we see those videos of cooking or those do-it-yourself crafts, which is really helpful for if you're stuck at home in quarantine, you need things to do. So whenever you do those things yourself, from the article called The Benefits of Social Networking Services, it can be really helpful in developing your own sense of aspiration or personal achievement, which is great for your growth as a human being. And the reason that it works as a relaxation tool is from Dr. Anita Deek from the University of Pex, and it's called mirror neuron theory. Whenever someone watches an adult, like as a child watching an adult do something, it fires neurons in their brain that make it seem like they are also doing the same thing. So when you watch a relaxation video with like some slime or cutting some soap, It activates the same neurons in your brain as if you were doing it, and that promotes the production of dopamine in your brain. And then my third point is that it is a tool for us to use to stay connected and for us to use to reach out and receive help whenever we need it. Another study done by the Pew Research Center shows that the internet ties and social media helped with voicing the opinions of friends whenever you were working on making some major life decisions. You can connect with experts who can get you some help, and it was allowed for the easy comparison of options if you were deciding like a job or somewhere to live. And that goes with the most common topics of discussion, which is on slide 6. The common issues for major life changes was caring for someone with an illness, finding a new place to live, financial decisions, changing jobs, and deciding who to vote for. All of these are pretty big decisions which make up part of our lives, and social media is a really good way of organizing all of that information. 85% of people went online and received help through social media during one of the studies done by the Pew Research Center. And then for my last point, you can have custom settings. This is on slide 7. A lot of people like to give social media a bad reputation for things like how easy it is to cyberbully or to catfish people, but it has also become increasingly safer. There are new settings for blocking content, so that way you don't even have to see it in the first place. You can hide profiles, that way someone can't just look you up and find you. And there are increased parental controls for your kids if that's something you're worried about. If your kid is going to see something online, you can block that. And there's also increased positive subjects and awareness. That's something that the internet has gotten a lot better at, is just having more positive subjects out there. So, in conclusion, social media is a very beneficial tool for marginalized groups, for helping in relaxation and learning, and is useful for making major life decisions, as well as if something bothers you online, you can just block it or delete it. It's really easy to customize. So I hope all of you can see now that if your experience with social media hasn't been so positive, I encourage you to try it again. And it's easy to make new profiles and set things towards your interests. That's all for my speech. Thank you for listening, and with luck, I'll see you all again online.